So Peter, tell me, in all your years in building successful businesses, what's the most important trait, the most important skill you need to make a business thrive?
Well, that's a really great question for several reasons. And one of the biggest reasons is that most people prevent themselves from getting into business because they use the excuse that they don't have enough money or they don't have access to the right resources, when really in traditional old acres of diamonds fashion, the resources you have don't require any of those things that most people think. In fact, the number one key to building successful businesses in today's world is not money, it's not the right product, it's not the marketplace, it's relationships. And I'll share a quick story with you. I set up a company in 1997 called the Worldwide Health Corporation, which basically sold vitamins, nutraceuticals to people and anti-aging. And I couldn't compete with the big companies of the world. They had far bigger budgets, far bigger advertising spend, far bigger offices and research facilities. So the only thing I had to do was compete in an area that I found nobody else really competes in. And that is to make people feel valued and special. In other words, relationship. And I remember, for example, we had one call come into the office, and this is a typical example, I could give many more, but we had somebody call in, and it was an elderly lady who asked if we got anything for bruising. And the lady on the phone, my customer service girl, said, well, tell me a little bit more. What's the situation? We do have something. And it unfolded that the story was that the old lady had fallen down the stairs and bruised all of her side. And she was already on many different prescription medications, as many people are, and she didn't want to go to the doctors in case one of the things he gave her contraindicated with what she was already taking. So her friend recommended us as a natural health company, and she called us. Not a customer, just a referral. And so we explained the product that we had. It was a little expensive. So the old lady says, I'll think about it. So what my girl on the phone said, Jenny, she says, listen, why don't I send you 7 days supply just so that you can see if it works, and let's at least get you out of pain. Now the 7 days didn't really cost us much, it was 7 tablets. But the reason we were sending it wasn't just to be nice, it was to get her name and address. Because here's what happened next. As soon as we recorded her name and address and were going to send her the tablets, the phone went down and instantly bounced back up to Interflora, whereby we sent or ordered about a £30, $50 bunch of flowers, and then we went to a drawer in the office, a special drawer that I encourage you to have. And in that drawer we had a card, it was more like a filing cabinet, we had a card for every single circumstance that you could possibly imagine. If you were having a wedding anniversary, moving house, retiring, if you had a hamster that had a birthday, we had a card for it. So obviously we took the get well soon card, and it was hand signed by everybody in the office, and we sent that with the tablets and the bunch of flowers. Now the critical point here is that we weren't expecting anything back. That was just the nature of how we did business. Now the next day, the woman did call back. She called back in tears, and I'll never forget what she said. She says, I never received or expected flowers from my best friend, let alone a health company I'd never dealt with before. Now, the key here, as I said, is not expectation, it's a way of being. If you're entering into this as a transactional horse trade, I could have been sitting there at 3 o'clock thinking, that selfish so-and-so hasn't called. That's not going to work. If it's authentic and it's coming from a place, it may have not been from her, it may have been from somewhere else, but that's how the universe and how business works. So she actually called back in tears with this huge emotional sense of gratitude. From that one action, she referred to us over a dozen different people. She became a loyal customer herself, and we worked out in the following 12 months that $50 bunch of flowers, a few tablets, and a bit of time, effort, and thought, and a card brought back nearly $5,000, £3,000 in business. Now, if I'd have taken that $50, $60 and put it as an advert in a newspaper next to another big health company competing with, what would have happened? Nothing. But you don't have to compete that way. You compete on making people feel good, and you don't have any competition. That's the power of referrals.